Joe, I watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of this.
What have you heard?
Um, as the Winnie the Pooh works fell into the public domain, some prick said, "Hey, let's capitalize that and make a horror movie with Winnie the Pooh and Piglet or whatever the fuck." That's what.
Yeah, this isn't just any prick, Joe. This is a mate by the name of Scott Jeffrey. I've seen a few of his movies. The only one that I can remember the title of is one I turned off as soon as I saw that he made it, and that was Jack and Jill. I think there was one about a Cupid he did, one about like a fucking a Jack Frost or a Snow Miser or some shit, and then he did fucking Humpty Dumpty. A lot of these movies you would see at Walmart, and they're just, I've talked about them before, just these shitty garbage British movies. He's just one of these guys who just churns out product, not worried about it. People are buying it, so just slop it out for the fucking pigs. I think that shit that we watched with old Bronzy not too long ago, where he's a fucking priest, I think that was one of his movies, Joe.
That was
It's pretty good, right?
not at all.
So in this one, it starts out, it's like an animated sequence. It's like these creepy kind of looking sketches, which is pretty good. And it tells the story of old Christoph Walton off in the woods, being friends with all these animals. I thought they were stuffed animals. Isn't it like a Calvin and Hobbes thing
Yeah, I
where
think
these
so.
were like, so in this, they're like real animals. And for years and years, he's going off into the 100-acre woods playing with these fucking animals and shit. And then one day he leaves and grows. I'm fucking Chinese now. He goes to college, and the animals don't know what to do without him. Old Christopher leaves, and that means every other animal in the forest dies or whatever. So the group of animals, they have to, I think it's owl, Eeyore, Piglet, Poo Poo, and maybe one more. They not Tigger, he's not in this one because I don't think it's public domain quite yet. So uh they all say, oh, all right, well, it's turned this movie into a live all of a sudden, and now we gotta eat Eeyore. So the trauma of fucking having to eat their friend just turns Pooh and Piglet homicidal. And there's a specific line where, oh, and then they lost their humanity. But then the portrayal of Pooh and Piglet, they're standing upright, walking, using thumbs, wearing clothes and shit. And it's just, well, I understand you have to do that because this is a cheap fucking movie and you're just trying to make a buck and don't really give a fuck. But if that's the case, just leave that, oh, they're feral and lost their humanity line out of there, because dickheads like me are going to say, hey, mate, well, what about this? Yeah, the bloke's wearing shoes, ain't he? It's pretty human, huh? Yeah, you're a dickhead. Yeah. So I mean, it comes off as motherfuckers like wearing masks and shit. So just the execution of that, it's fucking fails. There was like a Winnie the Pooh kids show Disney made, late 80s, maybe early 90s. Those things look fucking creepy. If you like played it like they were animals and they were in like mascot-esque costumes, you don't have the money. I know. That's why I'm saying get mascot costumes, even if they were cheap and, just wearing the shirts or whatever, not wearing any pants. Like this Winnie the Pooh, like in overalls, dressed like a fucking lumberjack. The whole execution of that is fucking like garbage. It's just you think it's just like serial killers dressed up as Winnie the Pooh characters. That's how it comes off. There's some CGI gore, whatever. Like there's some kills in there where you actually see shit, but it's nothing memorable over the top. I didn't expect like any blood or any kills or anything like that. So I was surprised by that. Shot well. Everything looked fine. Like some of the shits with the woods is like, oh, that looks all right. Probably better than this movie should have. But I just didn't really give a fuck at all. Like if the fucking characters were just executed a little better. It's just like pretty much it's just a flock of birds rent a fucking cabin and it's just them getting picked off one by one. Oh, this girl here, this girl here. And it's just like, yeah, just your typical slasher shit. Like everybody was fucking when it first came out. Oh, this is the biggest piece of fucking shit ever. I mean, it's just your basic slasher movie. There's fucking like more blood and violent kills in this than a lot of them that I've seen before. A lot of them have been, a lot more boring. This isn't good. I wouldn't recommend anybody watch it, but it's not like it's this fucking terrible piece of shit. It's just like, yeah, it's a fucking slasher movie about Winnie the Pooh, which they, didn't pull off well. So yeah, it's fucking like it sucks, sure, but there's a lot worse slasher movies out there. Like what's that one? I want to say Fear World, but that's probably not. It's like some dickhead and looks like he's in like some kind of wooden mask. Kind of reminds me of The Fear. Came out a couple years ago in theaters. Hell World, maybe Hellfest. One of those was probably it. That one fucking sucked. This one was better than that, but they both suck. So who gives a shit? I've already talked about this fucking whatever movie for too long. I can see why people like it. Like if you like slasher movies and that's your thing. Okay, well this kind of has a goofy angle to it. Fine. I mean, whatever. You like slasher movies, cool. Get fucked.